This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. The ARRL Summer Field Day is on June 28th and 29th. For those not familiar with Field Day, it is the most popular on-air event held annually in the United States and Canada. On the fourth full weekend in June, more than 31,000 amateur radio operators gather with their clubs, groups, or simply with friends, and usually operate from remote locations. The objective is to set up a remote portable station, oftentimes with emergency power, in a group and try to work as many stations as possible on the 160, 80, 40, 20, 15, 10 meter HF band, as well as 6 meters and VHF and UHF simplex, using voice communications on AM, FM, and sideband, or Morse code, or digital modes which support the exchange, which is a number of transmitters being used simultaneously, the class and ARRL section. If you're interested in ham radio, whether or not you're a ham, come on out to these field day locations. This will be an experience that you'll never forget. Most of these clubs set up a GOTA, or Get on the Air station, as part of their activity, which is managed by a seasoned licensed operator who acts as a control operator, allowing those who are not licensed to get on the air and make contact, or perhaps a newly licensed operator who has never experienced HF operations, or even a long-time ham who's been away from the hobby for a while. With the control operator's help, you easily get on the air and find out what all the excitement is with this radio hobby. The Ukiah Amateur Radio Society will set up the Mitchell Memorial Forest with their 5-station event on Friday at 2 p.m. They'll be holding their annual picnic at 5 p.m. on Saturday and ask that you bring a side dish. They'll also have available the Midnight Stakeout Grill at midnight if you bring your own delicacy to cook it up for those overnight participants. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will be operating Field Day from the Lincoln Ridge Park, 420 Independence Station Road in Independence, Kentucky. The Midland Trail Radio Club will hold Field Day at the Legacy Grove, 1107 West Lexington Avenue in Winchester, Kentucky. The Mason County Amateur Radio Society will hold Field Day at the Cummins Nature Preserve, 3049 Pickett Lane in Maysville, Kentucky. They invite everyone to come out, talking on the 147.47 repeater with a PL tone of 107.2. The Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association will be operating Field Day from the Rocky Hollow Park Recreation Center. For more information, see Mike, KY6MM. The Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will be setting up for its Field Day at Howell Farm Park, 3551 Briar Hill Road in Lexington, Kentucky. The Harrison County Amateur Radio Club, K4HSN, will be set up at Flats Runs Veteran Park for the Field Day. Murray State University Amateur Radio Club will operate Field Day at the MSU Arboretum. The Queen City Emergency Net will hold Field Day at W8VVL station at the Red Cross Building, 2111 Dana Avenue in Cincinnati, Ohio. They invite anyone interested in ham radio to come out. If you want more information, contact Bob, W8NFM, at W8NFMUSA@gmail.com. The Amateur Radio Transmitting Society of Louisville, Kentucky, W4CN. They'll operate Field Day from the Fairdale Volunteer Fire Department, 7940 3rd Street in Louisville, Kentucky. The Bullet Amateur Radio Society, KY4KY, will operate Field Day from the Pioneer Village City Hall, 4700 Summit Drive in Louisville, Kentucky. The Clark County Amateur Radio Club, W9WWI, will operate Field Day from the Moose Lodge, number 1757, at 1040 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg, Indiana. The Exhorn Club will be set up at Beaver Creek Township Fire Department at Dayton Xenia Road at Orchard Lane for Field Day. They invite everyone to come on out. They'll be holding a CPR class with a potluck picnic that will begin around 6 p.m. on Saturday. They encourage everyone to bring a chair with them. They'll be focusing on education and teaching what works and what doesn't. They are not serious contesters. They're also planning a youth-oriented, hands-on educational activity. To find other Field Day sites, use Ham Radio Field Day Locator on the ARRL.org/field-day website. The ARRL announced that the Logbook of the World will be unavailable from June 27th through July 2nd as part of the ongoing modernization of the ARRL system infrastructure. LOTW will be receiving major upgrades to the operating system it is running on, a relational database system it uses to store and access logbook and awards data, and server hosting, where it will be fully integrated to the cloud. These changes will, among other improvements, ensure LOTW performance needs can be better met based on user demand. Congratulations to the Midland Trail Amateur Radio Club that got their new club call sign of KR4ESP. The Louisville Hamfest Committee is looking for some help. In the past couple of years, they have lost 3 longtime members who did a lot of work for the Hamfest. They're looking for some volunteers to help fill that void. If you can help out, contact Buddy Soul, KC4WQ. The 13 Colonies, a special event, will run from July 1st at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to midnight on July 7th. Now in its 17th year, the event has grown from approximately 12,000 contacts in 2009 to last year a total of 292,496 contacts. The special event consists of 1 station operating in each of the original 13 colonies using call sign K2A through K2M, and 3 bonus stations, WM3PEN in Philadelphia, GB13COL in England, and TM13COL in France, each representing their city, state, or country's role in America's colonial period. Ham radio operators and shortwave listeners can participate in the event. Complete information about the call for each colony station and the bonus stations can be found at the event website of 13colonies.us. Stations need only to make 1 contact with one of the participating stations, where they can go for a clean sweep and work all 13 colony stations and the 3 bonus stations. Each station offers a special QSL card for the event, as well as a different certificate each year. The Brunch Bunch will be meeting on July 12th at 1 p.m. at Wild Mike's American Eatery, 7587 Bridgetown Road in Miami Heights, Ohio, near the O'Kion Field Day site. July 14th is the new Queen City Triathlon, Duathlon, and Aqua Bike in downtown Cincinnati, and Brian Hoffman, KC8EGV, is looking for some amateur radio operators to assist with communications for the event. If you're interested, please email him at hoffgroup@gmail.com. Paddle Fest will be held on the weekend of August 2nd, and they're looking for some amateur radio volunteers to assist with managing and deploying FRS radios to be used at this year's event. If you'd like to volunteer to help out, please contact Rick Halderman, KD4PYR, at KD4PYR@fuse.net.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfest.
July 19th is the Williams County Amateur Radio Association Hamfest at the Williams County Fairgrounds, 619 East Main Street in Montpelier, Ohio. July 19th is Norfest at the Lorain Community College Spitzer Conference Center, 1005 North Abbey Road in Elyria, Ohio. July 20th is the Van Wert Hamfest at the Van Wert County Fairground, 1055 South Washington Street in Van Wert, Ohio. August 2nd is the Columbus Hamfest at the Elyden Shrine Center, 1801 Gateway Circle in Grove City, Ohio. For more information, go to columbushamfest.com. August 9th is the Cincinnati Hamfest, sponsored by the Milford Amateur Radio Club at the Claremont County Fairgrounds in Owensville, Ohio. This year, they will have overnight parking for campers and RVs with electric and water hookups. Go to cincinnatihamfest.org for more information. On August 9th is the Letcher County Amateur Radio Club Hamfest at the Mountain Shrine Club, 95 Maryland Drive in Whitesburg, Kentucky, from 8 a.m. to noon. They're already amassing a nice stash of door prizes from some great name brand sponsors. For more information, contact Roland Brown, AF4Y at AF4Y@REBROWN.org. August 16th is the Portsmouth Radio Club 2025 Hamfest at the New Boston Village Community Center, 3980 Rhodes Avenue in New Boston, Ohio. On August 17th is the Warren Hamfest at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds, Commercial Building, 899 Everett Cortland Hall Road, Cortland, Ohio. For more information, go to w8vtd.com/hamfest. August 30th is the Athens Trunk Fest at the Athens Masonic Lodge, 12 West Carpenter Street in Athens, Ohio. On Saturday, September 6th is the Greater Louisville Hamfest 2025 at the Parquet Springs Conference Center, 395 Parquet Springs Drive in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. This year will be free admission for anyone under 16 years of age. Also, scouts and scout leaders in uniform can get free admission as well. Exciting forums on POTA, digital networking, and the ARRL. Major prizes include a Yaesu FT891 and an MFJ 1536 tri-band pulsar antenna, as well as many others. QLF contest is back again this year, and they'll be awarding the Kentucky Amateur of the Year Award. For more information or to purchase your ticket, go to LouisvilleHamFest.com. September 7th is the Findlay, Ohio Hamfest at the Hancock County Fairgrounds, 1017 East Sandusky Street in Findlay, Ohio.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On July 12th, the Westchester Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at 10 a.m. at the Voice of America Museum, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. For more information and to register, go to hamstudy.org/session/WC8VOA. On July 13th, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at 9:15 a.m. at the Cuyahoga Falls Public Library, 2025 2nd Street in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. For more information, email education@cfarc.org. On July 13th, the Cuyahoga Amateur Radio Society is hosting an amateur radio testing session at 9:15 a.m. at the Old Elmwood Recreation Center, 6200 Wisniewski Parkway in Independence, Ohio. On July 19th, the Crooked River Amateur Radio Association is hosting an amateur radio exam session at 10 a.m. at the Oak Hill Presbyterian Church, 2406 Adwell Avenue in Akron, Ohio. Pre-register at 330-786-8088. On July 21st at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by going to hamstudy.org/session/NKY-VE. On July 24th at 6 p.m., the K4TG VE team will have an amateur radio testing session at the Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. On July 26th at 10 a.m., the Wilderness Road Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio testing session at the American Legion, Post 46 in Danville, Kentucky. On August 9th at 10 a.m., the Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Red Cross Building in Lexington, Kentucky. On August 14th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@ARRL.net or check in on the K8GE.net website. On October the 9th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. On October 11th at 10 a.m., the Scott County Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio testing session at the Georgetown Police Department, Georgetown, Kentucky. On October 25th at 10 a.m., the Wilderness Road Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at the American Legion, Post 46 in Danville, Kentucky. On October 28th at 6 p.m., the K4TG VE team will host an amateur radio exam session at the Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. On November the 8th at 10 a.m., the Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will host an amateur radio exam session at the Red Cross Building in Lexington, Kentucky. On December 11th, the DeForest Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at 6 p.m. at the Adams County Emergency Management Office, 31 Logan's Lane in West Union, Ohio. Please pre-register by emailing K8WEH@ARRL.net or on the K8GE.net website. On December 13th, the Scott County Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio testing session at the Georgetown Police Department in Georgetown, Kentucky. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: KY6MM, AC8MA, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area. This is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.